All right, so skating street spots are not the same as skating skate parks. Something you're gonna find out if you continue skating, if you haven't already. So we're here at a ledge. It's pretty known. It's under the First Street Bridge, right there. To the right of me is Pekin Mariachi. To the left is Little Tokyo Station. So if you want to know the spot, there you go. Luckily, I have wax. I'm being responsible with bringing wax. So we're just gonna I'm gonna talk about my approach to skating the spot. You know, I kind of have an advantage because I have skated this spot already. But I thought, let me give you guys some insight on what I consider, because all spots are not created equal, you know. For example, this ledge has a slight rounded edge, or has a rounded edge. Why am I talking weird? Edge. Has a rounded edge. And as you can see, damn, it's actually like dented here. That's wild. But you know, so there's just a different approach to skating this spot than other ones. So for example, if I wanted to grind it, I'm definitely not gonna go as confident to it as I would to a ledge that's squared. I'm gonna feel it out, go slow a bit. Also, where it's slightly going downhill, so that might increase the speed that you generally go, generally use to approach a ledge, right? Because you might regularly just kind of drop down and do the trick, but because it's going downhill, all you probably need to do here is, you know, just get on the board and the hill's gonna take you. So there's slightly different variations to approaching a spot of a similar spot, whether it is a ledge or not. So I guess let me just do a 50, right? I just noticed that too. It's actually good to see, you know, where's the best place to actually skate, because sometimes, you know, spots that aren't generally skated a lot are less waxed, therefore less likely that it'd be the place to actually skate. It seems like most people skate this part, like from this line to right here, right? Because you can see it's kind of dark all up into the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess over there too, it gets lighter and lighter as you get lower, right? So I'm just gonna do a 50 right here. See how it goes. Maybe I need more wax on it. You could just stay there. I'm just gonna. If I would have went, you see, that's a perfect example of if I would have went faster, I would have got stuck. So it would definitely be smart for me to, for one, kind of take note. Okay, was that me getting stuck because I was just stiff and not warmed up in general, or was it the actual ledge? So I'm gonna give it one more try and really try to be engaged throughout the whole trick. I landed wrong. So I'm just not warmed up. You know, sometimes we forget that when you're at the skate park and you eventually get to skating the ledge, you already did your warm-up. You already ollied onto a manual pad, you know, this small 50, skated a smaller ledge, you know, warmed up the whole body. So when you go for the ledge, you're in a how would I say, like in a prepared state. So maybe I just need to skate flat, you know, skate flat 180s. I guess I'll do the straight 8. That makes sense, right? The straight 8. That's 3. I'm gonna count it because I don't trust this floor and I don't want to battle it. We're just gonna keep sketchy tricks. harder going uphill. Alright. I definitely feel warmed up now. Kinda, yeah, look, this stops right there. The lacquer.
Oh,
So,
they painted it.
they painted? Oh, they painted it. Never mind. Oops. But you can see this gap right here. It gets longer though, wider.
Yeah.
But alright, we're gonna try this 50 again. So because it's rounded, I am more I'm thinking about, okay, how am I gonna lock in better? And the best way to do that is that when I get on, I want to be in this position where I'm locked in here, you know, instead of up here, because that makes it easier for me to apply pressure on the heels and it eventually slip back. So I need to make sure that I engage my whole body, my core, my legs, everything, so that the pressure is going towards the midfoot, which is gonna keep the weight centered on the top of the ledge. So the focus is just to do a 50 for me. All right. Way better. I'm not trying to go faster, because I'm not. But generally when I see ledges like this, I know that I need to apply the same concept when I'm doing slide tricks, because if you have, especially if you don't have like a steep nose or a big one, it's easy for it to slip out. So for example, if I were to skate my tail with back tails or front tails, I just have to really make sure I lock in and be engaged so that I am fully applying pressure on this part where it keeps my tail, the wheels kind of elevated over the ledge. If we were to draw a line, right? This is the wheels under the ledge, over. So with the nose, it's kind of easier to have that because it's a bigger nose, right? So you can see it sticking out more. So anyways, rounded ledges, you want to keep in mind, it's just gonna, you are just gonna have to be really dialed in with engaging your body so that it's easy for you to lock into the ledge, right? So when it's sharper, when it's a sharper edge, there's more room for error, and you can kind of get away with your board hanging off like this, right? So I want you to be super intentional when you're skating rounded ledges, getting low so that you can put all your pressure on that tail, and it gives you that ability to slide. So we're actually gonna do a little back tail, maybe a little back tail stop. Oh, that actually felt really nice. Huh? I like stayed there. I was so slow. But yeah, I learned that the hard way, because when I first started skating this spot, I would always slip out, and it's because the back tails that I only knew how to do were ones that were hanging out right there, and I never really practiced holding on to them, and so I would just pretend this is the edge of the ledge at Hollenbeck. I would just do this, you know, little kiss. And it wasn't until I skated ledges like this where I'm like, wait, I really have to make sure I engage my body centered over that foot that's holding on, which you can also call, or at least I call, the lead foot, because that's stabilizing, right? I really have to be over that. And then, so now let's do nose slide. I think nose slide's pretty cool. Make sure it's waxed and do nose slide. So far though, some things you want to keep in mind when you're skating street spots, or let's just say street ledges, is it a round ledge? Is it a rounded edge? Is it sharp? You know, has it been skated? Do I need to wax it a bit more? How fast should I approach the ledge? I mean, there are skaters who do it, who go so fast for any ledge, but I'm asking that question because it's important to understand, like, relative to what you're capable of, you want to approach the ledge. Yeah, relative to that. So, nollie nose. Or no slide, no slide. Oh! So right there, I was slipping out, and because it's rounded, like, I couldn't really save it, so I just kind of, I lost it. So there's less room for error. But I also, you can see that I like disengaged. If you pause the video, you can tell that I was here, and then I slowly, like, stood up, disengaged, and that's when I started to slip out. So I'm gonna give more effort on just, like, staying engaged. So that one I went longer, maybe just because of the speed, honestly, because I didn't get on that good. So from the beginning, I didn't get on that good. And something that is worth mentioning is, if you get onto the ledge, but you know you're not locked in the way you need to, I want you to not freak out and kind of abort it, because sometimes you can get stuck with the board and slip back. I want you to stay just calm and allow yourself to slowly get off, so that you can, you know, have a bit more say on where you want to bail. You think that makes sense? Like,
I know what you mean, but I'm trying to...
So basically what I'm saying is, like, sometimes we get onto the ledge not locked in the way we think, and we're like, oh my god, we freak out and we try to bail right away. I want you to just stay very light-footed as long as you're engaged, and primarily over the toes, applying pressure through the toes. You're going to be able to kind of save yourself a bit more, right? You're going to lower the risk of injury. It's when we get onto the ledge that, in a way where we don't like, and then we freak out, it's because of that freak out most times that people get hurt. So just stay calm and slowly abort. So right there on that nose slide, I didn't get on from the beginning, but I held on to a secure position, and I, like, slowly just slipped out, right? Even though I went from point A to point B, I knew from point A that it wasn't a good nose slide, so I just relaxed and let it fail. You know what I mean? I didn't try to hold on to that bad trick. More wax. Honestly, a good habit to have is just wax the whole ledge, even though it might look waxed. Also, I need to do this, but to bring a scraper, something that can get rid of the old wax, would be helpful. But honestly, I'm not gonna skate this as far as, like, trying to get a trick, so I'm just gonna already make use of what is waxed. But if you're trying to film a trick, or if I was trying to film a trick today, just making sure I'm waxing the whole thing, right? Or at least where I'm gonna skate is a good idea. So I'm just gonna slide from, like, right there. I was too forward at the end.
Yeah.
What I will say though is, when you're skating ledges, or any trick, for any obstacle for that matter, is you want to be in a position where if there's friction or there's no wax, I would suggest you prefer to get thrown forward instead of slip backwards. And that's just because we have more, you know, we reduce the risk of injury if we can catch ourselves with our arms on the front, right? You might break your arms, but you won't. It's less likely that you'll hit your head because you can have that reflex. If you go back, you know, it's kind of harder to save your head if you're falling back. So that's just one example. But yeah, you want to make sure on top on top of that, you want to make sure so that can be accessible to you, at least that like defensive approach, is you want to make sure that when you get onto your tricks, you're on your forefoot, because that's going to give you the ability to control, you know, jumping forward and even just stabilizing if you land the trick. So avoid the heels. So if you get on the nose slide like this, where your toes aren't really applying the pressure, that's something you want to fix, especially for street skating, because it's not perfect and it's going to be much harder to hold the trick on a rounded edge like this. At a skate park, you know, a lot of things, people can build upon a lot of bad habits, because skate park ledges most of the time are forgiving. These ledges aren't forgiving, and they'll expose your insufficiencies, basically, like your bad habits in skateboarding. And one of the bad habits I just mentioned are applying pressure through the heel. So let me do a nose slide fakie, and I kind of want to mention the lead foot concept. So basically, let's do a nose slide first. Horrible nose slide, but the concept remained intact throughout the whole trick. So my lead foot is the foot closest to the direction I'm going. So in this case, I'm approaching the ledge as a regular skater. I'm gonna do nose slide. So my lead foot starts at my left foot, it stays on the left as I'm sliding, and then because I pop out to the where my right foot is towards the direction I'm going, my right foot becomes it, right? So it goes left foot, right. Now if I were to do the nose slide to regular, it would remain the lead foot on the left foot would remain the lead foot, but it's not on this one. It was right one. So with a back tail, it's a little different, because the lead foot starts off as the left. I pop, I land, stabilizing with the right, so that's the lead foot, because that's the direction I'm going, or I'm applying pressure to, right? I'm not going this way, I'm not holding that way, I'm going to the right. And if I were to go to fakie, it'd be the right foot. If I were to go to regular, it's the left. So left, right, left. It's a bit tricky, but it's important, because that's how you know where to center your weight over, right? If you're doing a nose slide, center your weight over the left. Because look, just because you're on the left, it doesn't mean that when you get on the nose slide, you're gonna be centered over where this foot was. But a lot of people do that. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Go right there. When you're first learning nose slides, you'll go like this. Huh? Yeah. Like there'll be a lot of skaters that do that. They'll be like this because their weight isn't centered over the foot. It's centered over the middle. And the only thing taking them on the slide is the momentum of their speed. And so I don't want you relying solely on the speed. I want you to understand that you need to be centered over that left foot. How much time do we have?
18 or 19.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh damn, okay, cool. So essentially these are just some things that I'm taking into account when I'm skating ledges, you know, like the rounded edges, how fast I should approach the spot, and some of the other things like staying over the lead foot or centering yourself over that lead foot applies to skating at any level, right? Whether you're just pushing a board or going down some big stairs or a drop or a hub or whatever it may be. But I'm trying to think real quick. Is there anything else I should mention?
Hinging.
You're hinging? Yeah. Oh yeah. And then so centering yourself over the lead foot and hinging your hips to stabilize yourself and lock yourself in to this ledge also can apply to the 50, right? And even when you land, I just don't want to hit you. when you land, hinge at the hips. You're more stable if you get closer to your board, right? Relative to how tall you are. Yeah, those are some things that I just wanted to talk about as I kind of warm up on this ledge. And if you have any questions on what I just mentioned, feel free to comment. You know, everyone's skating ability is a bit different. Everyone comes from, everyone has slightly different approaches. So if I didn't cover something that applies to the approach you take, ask the question. I'll be more than happy to, you know, refer to it in future videos. Having said that, enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next video.